Okay, we are going straight into our debate on the News Hour tonight. Ravi Shankar Prasad and Ashwini Kumar, Union Minister Ashwini Kumar and Chief BJP spokesperson and Party General Secretary Ravi Shankar Prasad. Here's the scenario, gentlemen. It appears, Mr. Ashwini Kumar, would you concede that it appears round one has gone to the opposition because in 24 hours you had to reverse your position and agree to their motion, a voting motion on price rise after the vehement opposition yesterday. You concede round one has gone to the BJP? Mr. Ashwini Kumar, right at the start.
I certainly don't concede that round one has gone to the BJP in the manner that you are suggesting. The fact that government agreed to a particular position certainly does not amount to conceding the charges of the opposition. And therefore, the inference that round one has gone to the BJP is wholly misconceived.
But then why was the situation? Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad would remember, I think there was reference to a meeting in which allegedly the BJP said when we asked for a motion under 184, then the Prime Minister, was aggressive with us and went out to say that, we will also expose the opposition. That was the situation on Sunday. On Monday, there was a standoff, and on Tuesday, you've given in. I mean, that would be one interpretation. Mr. Prasad, you feel you won?
Well, no, our position is very clear. The price rise is troubling the country, the poor people, the Aam Aadmi, the middle class for the last nearly 3.5 years. There have been assurances, 100 days it will come down, November, March 2009, November 2009, February 2010, October 2010. Now we are more than half of 2011 and prices are rising and rising and rising. Yes, we have debated it 2, 3 times, 4 times in the parliament. But if effective action is not coming about under an economist prime minister, an eminent economist prime minister, then as the opposition, we are entitled to enforce accountability to the instrument of voting, apart from debate. That's what we are demanding. If they have agreed, good luck to them. But certainly the country is entitled to know who stands where inside the parliament.
What about your motion on 184 on corruption? What about your motion on 184 on corruption? Have you got into a deal with the government to give up that demand? Have you given up that demand?
Not the least. Not the least. That motion is also pending. Series of corruption keeps on coming out, tumbling out with alarming regularity as far as this government is concerned. Some have come from Haryana today, you must have known about it, as to how land were allocated concerning a trust named in the name of a former Prime Minister, now no more. That has also come about, prime land, 5 acres, 50 crore of rupees. That is also in public domain. Therefore, it will keep on rising. Our motion stands, Arnav Goswami. We will insist for the government, please have a free and frank discussion with voting element attached to it. Name those the culprit, name those who are involved, and let's have an honest discussion.
Okay, here the numbers are on the numbers are on your screen. Ashwini Kumar, look at it purely politically. The CAG report on the CWG scam is also out in the open. It indicts clearly the central government. It raises questions about what the Prime Minister did. It raises questions over Sheila Dikshit. It's going to put immense pressure on you. You can't respond by letting the sports minister answer on behalf of the whole government.
Well, Arnab, let me just respond to what you have suggested. We are sure of our case, as indeed we are sure of our numbers. We are sure to win the argument in the People's Court. We are sure to win the arguments in the Parliament of India. And we are sure to win the conscience of this country, because we know that at the end of the day, in a free, fearless and objective debate, the truth will come out as it is, and the truth is on our side. The charge of corruption, whether it is any other issue, you can compare it in the last 8 or 9 years, is entirely on the
Is the CAG report a bundle of untruths?
Yes.
Is the CAG report a bundle of untruths on the CWG
There is no finality. There is no finality, as we have repeatedly asserted, to the report of the CAG. There is a process through which the report has to go through. It has to then find acceptance in Parliament. It has a suggestion and an advisory role to make. But the way the CAG report is being written on some issues raises serious doubt about the objectivity and B, the jurisdiction of the jurisdiction of the constitutional functionary in saying what he has said.
Sir,
but that's another matter. We are going to question it on the floor of the House, where we have a disagreement. But the fact remains that for ad nauseum, all these issues have been debated. We are not running away from a debate.
Sir,
Indeed, the Prime Minister has always repeatedly asked for a debate.
So how
I'm happy the debate will take place in Parliament.
But how
and under whatever rule it may take.
The
rule under which it is debated does not detract from the quality, should not detract from the quality of the debate.
Mr. Ashwini
so
Kumar,
the truth comes out. Let Parliament function as a forum for debate and discussion.
Mr. Kumar, I find the response of the Congress and the government seems to be set. Anything the CAG says, please reject. I have straight questions for you. Was the Prime Minister informed by the Sports Minister that rules were flouted to make Kalmadi CWG chief? Was the Prime Minister specifically warned about the dangers of having a non-government appointee as CWG chief? Is it true that within 10 days of those objections, the government gave the go-ahead to Kalmadi's nomination as CWG chief? Are these not questions that are valid? The CAG is only putting the facts out. The questions are being asked on the basis of the facts which the CAG is exposing. Is your political response to the CAG's expose going to fly, Mr. Ashwini Kumar? Is it really going to fly?
If you will show me the courtesy, will you show me the courtesy of a response to your number of questions?
Please go ahead.
I hope you will. And here is the response. Here is the response. The answer is clearly stated in a very detailed explanation given by the Sports Minister in the Lok Sabha today. I can do only that much by repeating what he said very succinctly. Two dates are relevant. The dates are May 2003 and November 2003. In May 2003, when the original bid documents were floated, it was the NDA government which talked of a provision relating to a government appointee being the chairman of the organizing committee of the Federation. In November 2003, when the host city contract was in fact signed, by that time the government appointee clause had entirely disappeared suspiciously and for no valid reason. And there was a provision to say that the Commonwealth Games Association, which in India's case is the IOA, who will be the organizing committee. And Mr. Kalmandi happened at that time to be the chairman of IOA. It was this contract executed by the government of India through the Secretary of the Sports Department and which was approved by the cabinet of the NDA, which facilitated the appointment of Mr. Kalmandi. Absolutely untenable and flawed is your suggestion that the Prime Minister this government approved the appointment of Mr. Kalmandi. Yes, sir.
Simple point I want to make, that the OC was registered in its present form in February 2005 in the structure and manner which has been laid out in the documents we are putting out. And when Mr. Kalmadi, when ministers under your government tried to tell Mr. Kalmadi to bring some control with Mr. Kalmadi, he wrote a letter. And I have a copy of the letter from this. He said any attempt to fiddle around will diminish the brand value of the games and prove to be fatal to the conduct of the games. On that basis, the situation was allowed to drift till October 2009. So dates are a matter of perception, but Ravi Shankar Prasad wanted to respond here. Yes, Mr. Prasad.
Arnav, I am amazed by the logic given by the minister today in Mr. Makan and my good friend Ashwini. They always disown anything which the NDA has done. But today, very surprisingly, when it suits them, they are referring to an alleged decision of ours which is not effect. You very rightly pointed out 2005 is the date when this was registered. Now let me ask a question to you today. Two ministers repeatedly objected to the appointment of Mr. Kalmadi. Sunil Dutt, about whom I have great personal regard, he is no more now. People say he died under pressure also because the manner in which he was shabbily treated. Manishankar Iyer was shown the door, he has publicly stated, I don't wish to join issue with him. But if there was a proper model of other games of Commonwealth, where the government nominee was the head, and what happened thereafter. Second, or now this appointment of Kalmadi by itself is not an issue. The way he squandered public money, we had occasion to discuss that issue on your channel, in which you have played a great role times now. We have discussed that. We have got evidence on your channel, we have discussed that when the officers of the Department of Sports objected, don't allocate additional fund because utilization certificate is not there, in walks then Finance Minister Chidambaram, don't please hold the additional allocation. And all the allocations were done by the cabinet subcommittee, by the empowered committee, and even by the PMO as far as extra funding is concerned. The Prime Minister said, once Shunglu committee report comes about, I will take action. What happened?
No, government is saying, government don't answer the question which Ashwini Kumar raises. Ashwini Kumar is saying
yes,
that this is all you are, you were bound by a legally obligatory host city contract, which was signed, I think the date Mr. Ashwini Kumar put was around November 2003. The NDA was in power. They are saying you did not leave us with a choice. We could not have removed Mr. Kalmadi. You put him in place. And may I point out, with all respect, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, on the 1st of November 2004, when the General Assembly of the IOA met to elect Mr. Kalmadi unanimously, among the stalwarts who were there was also Vijay Kumar Malhotra, who is not from the Congress. I think Mr. Dhindsa is there. He's not from the Congress. I think Mr. Chautala is there. I think he's not ally of the Congress. They elected Suresh Kalmadi unanimously. I'm only putting this point.
Am
I wrong? Am I wrong?
The point. May I clarify? Since you have asked me this question,
yes,
Mr. Kalmadi becoming the chairman of Indian Olympic Association is one issue. Mr. Kalmadi being given the responsibility of the organizing committee is other issue. Mr. Vijay Malhotra is the person in sports for the last so many years. He was there. What is the problem is organization of the game. Certainly he, being the chairman of Indian Olympic Association, will have a role. But will he have the role as the head of the organizing committee? And there comes 2005. That's very important. And there was no obligation to make him the chairman. Today, Mr. Vikram Verma, our minister during that period, has clarified that position very clearly. So all the facts have not been stated. But just a minute. Can Mr. Ashwini Kumar deny this fact that Sunil Dutt repeatedly objected to it? Manish Shankar Ayer objected to it? Based upon cogent reason, don't make him the head, their minister, yet why he was made, that's very important. And that's what PM has to explain.
I don't know if Mr. Kumar wants to answer that directly, because that's a rhetorical question. That's a rhetorical question, but you want to answer, go ahead.
Arnab,
yes.
I do, Arnab. But first of all, let me compliment you. I can now rest my case because you have nailed the BJP's lie as effectively as anyone could have had. Let me tell you, Mr. Goebbels, the Nazi spin master, would today be hanging his head in shame listening to my good friend Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad's detour of the entire demolition
that is a very hard comment, Ashwini.
The fact
that is a very hard comment,
Ravi, let me say it.
Okay,
I never interrupted you. Look, the issue
that is hitting below the belt.
A, who appointed or who facilitated the appointment of Mr. Kalmadi? I think BJP has no answer. They were the people who appointed him. As far as any charges of wrongdoing are concerned, these are being investigated for the last couple of months. The Shunglu committee has come up with 6 reports. Necessary action has been initiated. So let's talk about a degree of rationality and with some degree of responsibility. It is true that the opposition has the right to oppose, has the right to expose, but the opposition also has a right to be fair and truthful.
Sir, may I ask you something?
Judged by the people at large. Do not invent an argument when none exists in record. Please, for heaven's sake, there's a limit to falsehood, there's a limit to repetitive lies, because repetitive lies will not become the truth, howsoever hard you may try. Ravi, you owe a little bit more to yourself than to your party. That's all I have to say.
Okay, now yes, one question to you. I think Ravi Shankar wanted to rebut you there, but I have one straight question for you now. Mr. Ashwini Kumar, consider this. Now today the bugbear of the Congress or the UPA has become the CAG. Anything the CAG does is bad. You hate the CAG. You know, they're exceeding their brief. They are bookkeepers. They shouldn't go, etc., etc. Sir, tell me one thing. Didn't the CAG say, and it makes a mention of this in its report. In fact, I'm holding it up. I'll send you a copy. It says in 2009 June, again the CAG said in its study report on preparedness for the CWG that the governance model is not effective. The report, according to what it's written down now, flagged all the concerns. The games will not be revenue neutral. There are delays, there are slippages in the execution of the project. Is the problem with the CAG so acute that you did not listen to the CAG but you listened later to Mike Fennell? In retrospect, aren't there lessons to be learned? Is simply targeting the CAG going to work?
There are always lessons to be learned. Arnab, there are always lessons to be learned. And the lessons are learnt not only from the CAG's report, the lessons are learned from many, many sources and in many, many different ways.